What's up? This is your girl, Shay Day, bringing you the latest scrub down of all those celebrities until everybody comes clean. Here we go, people. Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 7, Episode 13. All right, so we missed last week because of the Super Bowl. That sucked. But, okay, we're back. And so let's get right into this week's review. The opening of the show starts off with Kenya and Robber Bob. Remember, I'm not calling him Roger. I'm calling him Robber. And she's having a production idea meeting with him about producing a show together. And she pitches some ideas to Mr. Robber, who really, he just wants camera time. He's trying to get his name shown in a professional light rather than that messy Demetria, who, by the way, I don't know where Robert put her, but she's on a timeout because she does not show up this entire episode. Okay, she's out. He's got her cooking some food, maybe running a bath for him or something. I don't know where she is, but she's out. And we're taking a break from Demetria, and that's fine by me. And so Kenya sits down at Robert's office, and she puts out show ideas. And it's basically Kenya doing what she does. Whatever show ideas she pitches, it's about her and three mean girls. And the first mean girl, her name is No-No. That was good. I did like No-No. And Kenya said they could have a man played the role of No-No. And then she had Athena, who is basically Phaedra, and Dee, who is so dumb. She's looking for the tracks in the Underground Railroad. And we know that's Porsha. And she's just doing what she does. She's saying all these kind of things. And Robert's, he's sitting back. Sometimes he's covering his mouth. Sometimes he's chuckling. But in no way is he taking her seriously. And after she pitches all these random ideas, you know, life twirls on and stuff like that, she says, okay, let's do this. And he tells her, yeah, but we could do this, but I'm not going to be available. And Kenya's face drops. And in her talking head, she's like, oh, no, he did not say he's going to be unavailable. I am not Demetria. Well, actually, what she said was, I'm not Demetria. I can't take Kenya's voice. She is beautiful. Yes, she is. And she's very intelligent. But that voice, I mean, it's like squeaky and it's like she's sort of sucked in some helium from a balloon and then didn't get to sleep for 3 days. And she's 89 all at the same time. That voice. But anyways, so Robert basically says to her, sure, we can do this if you do all the work. And then you could write me a check and pay me as a co-producer. That guy, he's trying to rob Kenya. Oh my goodness. So anyways, that meeting was a waste of time, so I'm not going to spend more time on it. But next we have Phaedra going to see her therapist friend and talk about Apollo's impending incarceration. And so, you know, the therapist sits down with her and she's basically asking his advice on if and how she should tell her kids. Well, really, she's talking about the oldest. The little one's sort of too young to be told. But you know, how should she approach it? This was really tough because she's a very smart woman and, you know, overall, she's got strong sort of attitude and mind, but you could see she's struggling. The idea is so upsetting to her to have her children even enter a prison, let alone connect prison with who their father is. It's too late. I think she's living in regret. Like, I wish this wasn't true. And I think she has to sort of say, okay, this is true, now what? And basically the therapist's advice is the same way I think. If you don't take them to have a visit with their father periodically, they're gonna come back and they're gonna put it on you. They're gonna blame you, they're gonna resent you, they're gonna Google you and find fault with you. You know, that's the advice. And she was good at listening to him, but you could still see she was undecided. It's tough, it's a tough situation. But, you know, as we've heard later on, and you know, her interview on Bravo, she said she is gonna bring the kids to visit. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it will happen, but I don't think her mind is set. And I don't think if she brings them once, it means she'll bring them again and again. So we will see how that plays out. It's tough. What do we got next, folks? Next we got Apollo. Apollo, he's gone to see Randy Kessler, the only lawyer in Atlanta, as everybody says. And he's basically got 4 days left before he's incarcerated and has to turn himself in. And he's talking about what ifs with the lawyer. I don't know how Apollo was paying this lawyer. Like, where's his money at? I would think he's broke and, you know, his assets have been frozen, bank accounts and whatever. And I know Apollo ain't getting money from Phaedra, but here he is seeing the lawyer again. Maybe Bravo, maybe like Andy Cohen, maybe he's paying or something. And he basically says if she doesn't let you see your children, you could basically just take her to court and sue her. Now, are you allowed to do that? I mean, I know he's a lawyer, but like, you're gonna force a mother to bring her children to prison? Like, don't you lose rights while you're in jail? I mean, you know, certain rights, not all your rights. You gotta be fed and not abused and stuff, but you're gonna force someone to come to prison and visit you and bring small children? I never heard of that, but we will see how it plays out. It doesn't make sense to me, but it definitely is sad. And then what do we got next? Next we have Porsha and Nene meeting at a cafe, having a little bit of cocktail and lunchtime. It's not lunch for me yet. It's still breakfast for me, but you know, I do need my coffee. So let me just get a sip. I've changed my coffee. I've changed to decaf because I heard it was healthier for you. I heard it was better for you. So I'm gonna have a little sip of my decaf. Excuse me 1 second, folks. You know what? Decaf is good. Very good. All right. So we're at the cafe with Nene and Porsha. And folks, these two are struggling to be relevant. That's how I feel. Their scene is all about speaking on Cynthia, Claudia, and Kenya. Like, you have nothing else to talk about? And it seems like Porsha went home, wrote down some notes, did some Googling, and came up with all kinds of comebacks for these ladies, especially for Claudia. Because remember in this bus scene, when they were all on the bus and Nene and Claudia were talking about the party the night before, and then Claudia goes in on Porsha saying, oh, you are having sex with a man for handbags and so forth. Well, when Claudia went in on her and Porsha was sitting at the back of the bus, she had nothing really to say. All she was like, oh, really? Do I? Oh, you know that, do you? And now she's sitting there with only Nene around and she's saying Claudia's a this and Claudia's a that and like, honestly, folks, I wish she would have brought her mouth directly to Claudia at the time, because all you sitting there saying, you don't know what you're talking about. really? It just sounds like it's true. If it's not true, I will stand up, jump out, and shout. You know, if someone is saying that kind of lie about me in front of camera people. But now she got comments and she starts on Cynthia. Cynthia never did nothing to Porsha. But she's saying Peter is using her for her money. Okay. I mean, I guess she would know she married Cordell. So I guess that, you know, she's the authority. And then she's saying Kenya and Claudia can't get a man. That's why they're so jealous of her. And, you know, one of her sayings that Porsha likes associated with herself is that she's unbothered, okay? But at the same time, she seems really bothered days later in a cafe going over these ladies and what they are and everything. So obviously it really upset her. You know, she may be dumb, but I guess she's figured out the bad publicity and the bad press is going to be there attached to her name, and her family's going to sit there and watch these, you know, points. So she and Nene are going back and forth. And even Nene got big mouth. Nene is going on and on about Cynthia, Claudia, Kenya. And at the same time, she didn't take on Cynthia and she didn't take on Kenya, okay, at the Puerto Rico dinner. But now I guess she did her research too. And the two of them decided, let's film a scene where we bash them. You both seem really bothered. All right, that's all I got to say on that one. And at the end of that scene, we see Porsha talk about her party. She's got a party for a welcome to Dish Nation with Ricky Smiley, and that's the radio show she does. And basically, she says everybody's invited. Her publicist is going to invite everybody. So I'm not sure why you have a publicist if they're going to allow you to invite Claudia so that you can get into an argument with her at your launch party. That publicist should be fired. They should say, no, boo, you're not going to invite every and anybody. You're going to invite supporters and create a good energy and buzz around you. Mind you, the funniest, most interesting part of that scene was when Nene says to Porsha, I don't know if you guys caught this. Check it out. Check it out. I'm going to do an impersonation for you. So here's Nene. You know, Porsha, if you were having sex with a married man in order to get cars and purses, it wouldn't bother me at all. And she's giving Porsha the look like, you know what, if it's true, you could come clean right now. Well, Porsha's dumb, but she's not that dumb. She didn't fall for it. But, you know, Nene, even her friends, she is messy. She is messy because she's giving her the look like, it wouldn't bother me. Porsha just remained silent. Anyways, all right, let's move on. Then we have Candy and Todd talking in their kitchen. And Todd basically tells Candy, your mother's love tour, it's done. It's a wrap. It's over. The promoter has no money, okay? And without any promoter, the tour's got to be canceled. And this scene was very disappointing for me because on one hand, you know, Todd is great. He's talking business and, you know, he's letting her know. And when Candy gets upset, all of a sudden, it's like he just gets cold and he starts throwing Candy under the bus. He's like, well, did you do your homework? Did you check him out? Do you know what he's about? Did you do a background check? And I was like, wait a minute, Todd. Ain't that your job? And Candy even says, don't turn this around on me. You know, what are you doing? And he says, oh, I'm not turning around on you. I'm not blaming you. I'm just trying to, you know, bring up what we can make sure not to do next time. And he's saying, we. But every time he makes a criticism, he says, well, did you do it? You didn't do it, right? And later on, we see Candy says, Todd's job and her general manager, Don Juan, that was their job. And I'm like, Candy, hold on. She got to do the writing. She got to do the scripting, the singing, the acting. And now, Mr. Todd, you expect her to do the background checks on the business partners? Like, Todd, what are you doing? Like, why are you eating when you're not bringing anything to the table? Okay, so that part was really messed up. And although Candy got annoyed, she was too busy being emotional and upset to really check him. She checked him a minute after in her talking head, but at that point, he threw Candy under the bus, and that was real lame of Todd to do. That was a punk move, okay? Todd, that's a scrub down. You're dirty. It was your fault. It was Don Juan's fault. Come clean, okay? That's the real deal about this situation. So anyways, and then we see Candy and Todd later on. They're at their office, the candy factory, and they're having a meeting with Carmen, Don Juan, and another assistant guy. And they're letting them know, guys, the tour's canceled. Okay, well, folks, before we get into that meeting, did you see Candy and Todd's chair? They looked like they were little people in grown-up chairs. And I know Candy had that big white chair from the get-go. But now Todd makes sure he got himself a chair sitting right next there. This is a 7-foot-tall chair with 3-foot-tall people in it. And that looked real comical. And I'm like, Todd, it's not a good look. With Candy, she's a woman, it's cute, you know, this giant chair. But for a man, it's not cute. Like, you really look 12, okay? And I just feel that Todd was showing sort of like a power trip ego move to even have that chair. So go sit on the regular chairs with everybody else. You know, you're part of it. Nope, King Todd next to Queen Candy. Anyways, so while they're telling the people the tour's over, obviously, you know, everybody's upset, everybody's shocked. But here comes Don Juan. You know, I thought that, you know, it's been over a year that they've been married. Don Juan would start having sort of a chill attitude with Todd, but he's not. He's there, you know, slick comment after slick comment in the talking head. He's like calling Todd, you know, the little guy that she sleeps with. I'm like, wow, Don, that's like really disrespectful. So I found that rude. And then he was bringing up Aunt Bertha. Aunt Bertha says that, Todd, this is your fault. This is a scheme that you caused, and bringing up the past. And it was really rude. Todd wasn't laughing. Candy wasn't laughing. I mean, I was laughing. Probably you were laughing. But it was pretty disrespectful. So hopefully, you know, it was just a one-time thing. But I think he makes those comments all the time. Because did you see the assistant? The assistant was finishing Don Juan's joke. Which means it's something that they've talked about well before today, over and over again. They can quote each other. I mean, that was just messy, but it was funny. It was funny. So, excuse me one sec. Next, we have Kenya and Brandon at a coffee shop having a meeting. And, you know, Kenya's still perpetrating. She's like, oh, I haven't found a good office yet. So we'll have a meeting in the coffee shop. I mean, the coffee shop is for broke people who can't afford an office. And Kenya says she's been a producer, businesswoman for years now, and she don't have an office yet? I mean, really, people? Really? It's time for Kenya to come clean and stop perpetrating. Okay? But here we go. And these two, I mean, Brandon's a really good friend, if you ask me. He is ride or die for Kenya, and she's lucky to have him. But what are these two clowns doing? She's saying, oh, I've produced so many shows and movies, and, you know, I can do this next project myself. and I'm a baller, I'm a shot caller. Here's Brandon, who says he's not her assistant, by the way, yet he's the only one around her. He's showing up to take notes. Folks, did you see Brandon taking notes about Kenya's ideas? Who takes notes with a pad of paper and a pen? Okay, let me do Brandon for you a minute. This is Brandon doing movies with a pad and pen. He goes, okay, here we go. Uh-huh. Oh, really? Oh, that's a good idea, Kenya. That's good. Give me a minute. Brandon, what are you doing? Like, guys, do you see when people are making movies? Like, here's Steven Spielberg. Oh, I've got this idea about dinosaurs. Ooh, that's a good one. These two, they're such frauds. So we hear Brandon and whatever. Can you talk about whatever? A whole bunch of nothing. BS. Whatever. I'm not going to waste any time on it. But it was funny watching them have that coffee shop meeting. All right. Now we got the next scene we have is Claudia and Derek J. And Claudia's trying out different hair pieces for the Dish Nation party for Porsha. Because, folks, you know she was going to go. Even if she didn't want to go, Bravo would have made sure her ass was there, okay? So she's trying to get a little bit cuter hair ideas from Derek J. And then she tries to talk messy about Porsha. But Derek J, he was all neutral. He wasn't having it. You were not going to record Derek on camera saying anything messy, because he really wants to have some sort of relationship with everybody. So he was doing this like, oh, really? Oh, yeah. And, you know, Claudia was egging him on. He was like, she was like, you know the rumors, right? Like, you know the rumors, right? And he's like, oh, wow. So that was a scene about nothing, according to Derek J. But we now know that Claudia's definitely going to be there. And she says she's going to be professional. Well, folks, you know it did not happen. Because when Claudia got to the party, everybody in the room stopped what they were doing and started eyeballing and telling their friends with their eyes, like, guys, Claudia's here. This is them. You know when you do one of those? That's what everybody was doing. Claudia's family was there. Of course, Gary with the T, who's a radio host, and Ricky Smiley were there, and everybody was there and kind of tensed up. While Claudia was good, she said hi to the people that she liked, and then she had a seat. But folks, if you think Claudia was gonna let this opportunity go by, not gonna happen. Because remember, guys, this is Claudia's first season. And she's trying to get a peach. And as a matter of fact, she's trying to get Porsha's peach. Okay? And be a regular. Which she did. She got Porsha's peach. They made Porsha a friend to the show. And Andy Cohen gave Claudia Porsha's peach. And this is exactly how. By making sure to get messy right on camera with Porsha. And so when she calls Porsha over, Porsha goes and sits down for a minute. And really, Porsha, that's how dumb you are. Why did you sit down? I mean, if you're going to call my name loud, hey, Shay Day, you know, and I'm trying to look sort of cool and professional, I will go over. But I'm not sitting down. Oh, no. I'm going to lean up against the table, and I'm going to tilt my head, and I'm going to say, yes. And I'm going to talk really soft, which will hopefully get you to answer me softly. But Porsha sat down, and that's when Claudia let her have it. She starts by pretending, oh, I just want to go forward in a professional manner. And Porsha, she didn't want to play the game, so Porsha told her, I'm not really interested in you. I find you negative. You're not relevant to my life. You're not in my thoughts. You're not in my circle. So this conversation is unnecessary. Porsha was not having it. She sat there and she cut off Claudia numerous times. You know, she was giving lots of attitude. Okay, hold on. Let me see. What was she giving us? You know what she was giving? She was giving Rihanna. She was giving us that song she made, that breakup song for Chris Brown. But you put on quite a show, really had me going. She was over it. And people were criticizing Porsha for doing that, like the people I chat with and stuff. And I thought Porsha actually kept it really, really real. She said, okay, so you're apologizing. I'm not interested in your apology. And this is a waste of my time. She didn't shout, guys. She didn't yell. She didn't put her finger in Claudia's face. She didn't roll her neck. You know, she just said, I'm not interested. Bye. You know, and that really was not going to work for Claudia. Claudia started bringing up the fact that, remember what I told you? Remember when I said you have sex with married African men for purses? Remember? Well, you know, and she starts bringing it all back up again. I guess I shouldn't have said that, but I'm not sorry that I said it. Okay? I just want to be like, oh, that apology is going to work, Claudia? Like, that's how you're going to apologize to people, Claudia? You know what I said? I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry that I said it. I just want to get along now. Claudia, she's taking a tip from Phaedra's page. Phaedra agrees to get along, but Phaedra is never sorry. And so it started a little bit of tension. Volume got a little loud. So, you know, Porsha eventually decides, let me get out of here. Let me stand up. Let me smooth out my beautiful cocktail dress. And let me just walk away. Well, even as she's walking, Claudia is calling her name and talking to her. Then you hear Porsha turn around. Don't speak to me when my back is turned. And Claudia's like, well, okay, bitch, don't turn your back. I'm not done talking. And it was just very unprofessional. You could see Ricky looking over. You could see Porsha's mother and grandmother looking over. And everybody's looking over at them. The body language is obvious and messy. And, you know, the whole thing was ridiculous. But like I said, Claudia got Porsha's peach. So it has worked for her. Okay? Anyways, that's basically the sum total of the episode. We see 2 minutes of Cynthia. I guess she wanted to make sure she got paid that week. And her and her ex are listening to her daughter say a poem about sex or something. Like, what was this poem about? Cynthia's daughter decides, let me go on camera and talk about like relationship and love at first sight. And I mean, that is a situation. It happens. But honestly, that whole thing should have been avoided. Okay? That girl has lost her mind, because even if you were, 13, 14, writing, love poems, like, why are you going up to your parents saying, listen to my love poems? Something's wrong with her. Hopefully they had a talk with her later. But that was basically the only other thing, part of this episode, rather. And, it was an okay episode. It wasn't extra juicy, but, it was a little entertaining at points. Kenya made me laugh at her. Porsha made me laugh at her. Claudia, Nene, at her. Even the whole situation with Phaedra and Apollo, being a little sad overall, it wasn't a big score in my book. So anyways, there you go. That's our episode. We waited 2 weeks for not that much, but whatever. You know, we love it. You know, we'll be back next week. I want to give a quick shout out to a fellow video blogger named Squeaky Jones. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there know Squeaky Jones. She's been in the game for a while now. She showed me some love, hit me up on my message page, and gave me some encouragement, which is great. I'm sure a lot of you know this is new for me. This is week 4. But I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are having fun with me. And if you like what you hear, people, you know the button is ready for you. Hit like, leave a comment, go to my channel, and subscribe. And we can do it all over again next week. And until then, folks, this is your girl, Shay Day, helping to scrub the dirt until everybody comes clean. Peace. Hey guys, listen, I want to add one more shout out to my video. I want to give a shout out to Simone Anderson. Now, Simone was a commenter on my Bill Cosby Scrub Down. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But Simone and me, we kind of got into it. We went back and forth. But I'll tell you what, guys, she was real. She stuck to her opinion. She stated her reasons for her opinion. And in the end, we just agreed to disagree, which is what it's all about. So shout out to you, Simone Anderson. Thank you for watching and thank you for commenting. And I will definitely see you next time. All right. Peace.